Break out a piece of paper.
Yeah, I don't need paper for this.
Oh, no, for them.
Yeah.
You guys, paper. Take down notes.
I like the way you
Take down notes.
Really did, really
All right, so who was in Mr. Rego's class Friday when I was in there?
I was in there. I saw you do that.
Okay, what did I tell you? What did I talk about?
Subnet, man.
And what's it for? What's the purpose?
That part I don't remember.
Split it into smaller networks.
Taking a big network and breaking it down into a smaller network. What was the real world scenario that I used?
Your family?
My family.
Yeah, your family.
I showed you this side,
Yeah.
and I showed you this side. Okay. Okay, so subnet masking, okay. Really, this is an IP address. You know what an IP address is, right?
They should know that by now. If anything. You better not say something.
How many people got a wireless router at home? How many people got a D-Link? Linksys. You probably got an IP address that's very similar to that.
They also have
10.0 or 10.1 or something like that, right? Okay, so now if you think about it, this address right here, in order to talk to the internet, is required. Okay, but to determine who you can talk to, it's the mask. Okay, so this is the IP address. So it's like if I told you I live at 861 Murphy Hill Place, that's my address. But if I don't tell you what city and state I'm in, it's irrelevant, right? So it's like the IP address is like your address, okay?
The real address.
The subnet mask is like the city and the state, you know what I'm saying? Because that's what's getting you around the world, okay? So what would be the IP address? What class address is it? What's the class?
1210, 1210.
No, 192, class A, B,
What's
or C.
the class? Is it A, B, or C?
Don't look at me, I'm not telling you.
It's B. C. C.
You gotta see that.
You guys, man. You gonna get me written up.
Am I doing an observation over here? No, yeah. Okay, so here's the deal. There's 5 classes of addresses, right? There's a D, and there's also an E. Okay, why? If you were in last Friday's class, why did I say we don't use these?
Those are for like military and government use.
And development and environmental type of stuff. So before they move the addresses from here into a production mode, they do a lot of the testing on this level. So if you think about it, we're right here. We're the class C people. We're the little people. So if you go home and do an IP config of your machine, you're going to see an address at the 192.168 address. Because we're little people, you know, we're peons. If you go to like a Bank of America, you're going to be looking at somewhere in here. If you work for the government, you're going to be somewhere up in here, or you may be down in these levels, which we don't even look at. Because you usually got to have security clearance. Okay, so now, if this is my address, now I done told you my address, now you want to know what city and state I live in. From a networking perspective, the subnet mask for this is going to be okay, how do I know that? I look at my first octet. Is it greater than 0? That means all the bits are wrong. Okay, the value of this is 255. This is a downfall of doing this because I'm so short I can't read.
Well, my question is, why you put it so high?
Because usually when I give a test, I always put this on the board. This is like the only way I allow you to cheat because I don't let you use a calculator.
I wouldn't even consider that cheating.
Yeah, so I usually put it here because if I write down here, then you got people in the back, well, I can't see. Excuse me, can you move over? So I try to write high. So I have some students that are real tall. They write like way up here, and I can't erase it, you know. It's like, that's okay. So this is how I do the logic for you. If you look at your first octet,
No.
okay. You look at your first octet. If it's greater than 0, that means all bits are wrong. So in your subnet mask, it's going to be equivalent to 255. Because when you add all of these up, it totals to 255. Y'all know that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Because y'all know this is the power of 2. Okay. So the power of 2. Get it? See, I told you wouldn't help you withdraw. He came to me last week telling me he's going to withdraw. I said, get your butt back in the library. You didn't withdraw.
Good.
So you look at the next octet, greater than 0.
Yep.
Subnet mask 255. Third octet, greater than 0, 255. This one is equivalent to 0, so that means no lights are on. So the first thing you have to do is you have to take this number and convert it into binary. Because right now it's in decimal format, so it's going to look like this. Okay? So these are equivalent. They're the same. It's just this is in decimal format, this is in binary. So what this is saying right now, it's saying that I'm using a CIDR of 24. Why does it say 24? Because I have 24 bits turned on. 3 times 8 is 24, right? So it's like if you got a house with 24 rooms and you got, I don't know, let's say 12 kids. And you say to your kids, when I come home, I don't want to see all 24 rooms of the lights on because Duke Energy going to be hitting me hard. And I can't be shelling out that kind of money. So you want them to shut down the lights of the rooms that they are not using, right? In this perspective, usually they're saying to you, I need you to turn on more lights. In order to subnet, you got to turn on more lights, okay? Especially from this example. So if I said, okay, I got 24 bits, but I want 27 bits. So I'm going to turn on 3 more. Okay, so now what changes? This third octet. I'm sorry, my bad. The last octet. What's going to be the value of that octet?
128, 64.
Add these up.
You got that right.
It becomes a rhythm. 128 plus 64 is 192 plus 32, 224. 24.
224.
Wow.
Yeah, he's smart, man.
That's real good. Now, what I used to have my students do is I would just have them do this. You know, you do the little chart, and you say, this is 192. And if you add 32, it's going to be 224. You add 16, it's what, 240? And then you have this little chart that you can kind of just reference back. Remember back in the day when there are timetables, you just follow the chart. You know, I used to have them do that. That makes it easier. So now you're saying, okay, my subnet mask is 224. Now I can take and create more networks. So I can take this one big network. This was one server. And now I can put more servers on my network. So if I took 3 of y'all in here and y'all play video games, what you play? Call of Duty. Call of Duty, okay, so
Minecraft.
if you got a server you're running, you know, you got your friends on there, you got Call of Duty, you got a server you're running on there, y'all playing, and then you got one. But you want to play against somebody else outside of your little network. Okay, so when you subnet, we give you a default gateway address to cross over into his world. And then you get to battle him and his buddies. You see what I'm saying? That makes sense?
Yeah.
So it's almost like, if you remember Michael Jackson's video, no, the one where they was in the gang, and they was in the gang, and they was in the circle, and they beat it, yeah. In that video, when they were like underground and like the parking lot thing, the thing is they need to get on some common ground. So in the whole networking world, it's like, okay, now we're allowing all of y'all into this common ground so you can battle over the internet.
I like that analogy.
That's a good analogy.
Oh, yeah.
Told you I
Are
could
you writing it? Are you writing it down? Are you writing it down?
You're not right, though.
Recording it.
So now, here's the thing. So when you go on these job interviews, what quarter is this for you?
Second quarter.
Okay, when you go on these job interviews, that could start next quarter. Okay, because next quarter, you know, that's usually third, fourth quarter is usually when people really start looking for a job. They want to get out in the field. Okay, so one of the questions will be, how many networks can I create from a CIDR 27? They may say, what does CIDR stand for? What does that stand for?
Classless.
Inter-domain routing.
Close.
Okay, get it? Classless, meaning it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what the damn class is. I just want to be in the domain routed.
Was that
okay?
right?
Means you got no class.
Yes, it's in a rock. Or that one comedian, he used to have that talk show when he used to come out, his guest would come out, he would be like, so say if he's online, him and his buddies, they battle on Call of Duty against him, and then all of a sudden, he show up. So you send out a message, who in the hell left the gate open for him to get in here? We didn't want him playing tonight, you know what I mean? He needs to go sit down somewhere. So it's like you have the power. And you got, you the power. You know, I'm big with it. I know. You got to tell me. I'm big with it. You know, that's how we roll, right, Mr. Rico?
Easy.
Easy.
All right there, Marlon Brando.
So you want to be able to take,
Yeah.
you want to be able to take this subnet and make it into mini networks. Okay, if you want another real world analogy, okay, you know how to say, mama's baby, daddy's maybe.
Mm-hmm.
You heard that saying before, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, all the little Rico Suaves out there that got all these different baby mamas, if you do the math, if you got 5 kids, 5 different baby mamas, that's 5 times 18, how many years of baby mama drama you got?
Papa wasn't rolling.
That's the thing. Okay, so I mean, I do it like this because sometimes people can't get it if you just talk to TikTok. But if I turn around and do some more Povich on you, who's my baby's daddy? Believe me, the light bulb goes on, and that's just how it goes, you know. So, but anyway, so if I said we got a CIDR of 27, and I say, okay, how many networks can I make? It usually looks like that. It's slash 27. That's what the slash means. Okay, one time I put this on the board and somebody was like, that's 127. And I'm like, no, it's not. It's 27. so if I say, okay, how many networks can you get with 27 bits on? The first thing you want to do, okay, it doesn't matter what this address is. This is irrelevant. Okay, you're only working with the math right now. It goes like this. This is the subnet, and this is the mask. Okay, so remember, we have 24, then we went to 27. So this changed from 255, 255, 255, 0. Now we at 255, 255, 255, 224, because we turned on 3 lights. Okay, so now, can you see? Sorry, it's kind of hard when you're going on. So there's a formula. You guys remember problem solving? Y'all took the problem solving course? You probably took with Ms. Lee?
Yeah.
Okay, so you did to the power of 2. Everything was to the power of 2. Okay, that's what you're doing in here, that kind of math. So to determine, the question is how many servers can I bring up now? Or how many networks can I create? 1 server is equivalent to 1 network. That's how we do, that's the talk. So it's going to be 2 to the number of bits that are on in the last octet, which is considered the working octet. So it's going to be 2 to the 3rd. What's the math for 2 to the 3rd? 8. Y'all remember how to do that? And don't be scared. I mean, 2 times 2 times 2. I mean, some people be like, I'm like, just do it. You know, who cares? I mean, I don't care if you got to count on your fingers, count on your toes, but you won't use a calculator. Not in my class. You can't use a calculator till you get that 2-year degree. That's my rule. Believe me, it works like a charm. So now, you know you can create 8 servers. So we can get 8 more people in here who play Call of Duty. Let them bring up their own server. Okay, we can go to war. Okay? So now, we need to figure out how many users can use each one of those servers. So it's going to be 2 to the number of bits that are off. So it's going to be 5, right? Then we got to do a -2. Why do we -2? You need 1 for the loopback, because remember, 127 is reserved. Okay, and as the IT person, you got to have a number to go out on. So you always got to make sure if something goes down, you got that back door in. You know what I'm saying? So that's why you have the 2. So we do the -2. So what's the math?
30.
30. now you're on a job interview, you're at the whiteboard, and the guy's like, okay, he really know what he's talking about. Now then you say to him, he says to you, well, how many switches do I need to buy? Or how much more equipment am I gonna need to buy? You gotta be able to show him the numbers. Because you know, it's like, show me the money. That's all. The boss they are clueless to what you do out there in the field. They don't want to know. It's all about ROI, return on investment. You're telling me you want me to spend some money. I need you to tell me why you want me to spend the money, how I'm going to spend the money, and what's going to be my ROI. Okay? So the first thing we say, well, we got 100 users. You know, we got 100 ports available. We're using 98 of them. So what's happening? Collision after collision. I-85 traffic is backed up like no tomorrow, right? That's exactly what's happening. So you need to be able to get some more ports. You know, that's just like it, you know. My husband was a construction worker for 20 years. When he was building his houses, he was like, I need a crew. He told me the other day he may be doing this other building project, and he was like, I'm going to need some crew. I'm like, I got a bunch of IT students that need some jobs. I said, I said, I'm pretty sure they down to do something as long as they making some money. You know, he was like, all right, well, if I, make this deal, I was like, okay, I'll put the word out. Because that's what we do. So, we got 8 servers. We can put 30 users on each server. So, in order to bring up more servers, we need more equipment, right? We're going to add more users. We're going to need more switches. That's more equipment. You know, some people need to buy HP switches. You know, Ms. Slater only buy Cisco. I'm sorry. I like top quality.
Belkin.
So, would you say Belkin?
Yeah.
Well,
They're middle.
Yeah, I'm more of a Cisco girl. I'm real, Remember that song?
I stand.
Cisco, yeah. What's
The hell with Link says.
Okay, so now, after we determine the number of networks we create and the number of hosts we can put on each network, we need a block size. So what do you think the block size is?
So that's networks, not ports.
This is networks. Yeah, we don't count ports. Networks is the same as servers.
So
Okay, this
networks
is,
next to the users, right?
I'm sorry?
Is that users?
No,
Oh, I'm on.
host is users.
Host, node,
Your
workstation,
nodes,
a workstation, those are you.
I'm with you now.
straight?
I'm straight now.
Okay, so now we need a block size. What the block size says is my first network address is 192.168.10.0, how do I know what my next one is going to start at? So it's like if I say I'm 50, which I am 50 after Friday, after this past Friday, I get no presents from nobody here.
Oh, stop.
No birthday text, no nothing.
Who you know?
Nada.
Wait, I wouldn't believe you if it.
I am.
You
I wouldn't believe it.
They were stuck in the driveway. So if I'm
Everybody stuck in
50,
the driveway last
how old are you, Mr. Rigo?
Me? 46.
He's 46. What's the difference between his age and mine? 4. 4 would be the block size.
Oh.
You see what I'm saying? So he's 46. I'm 50. 4 is the block size. So if you got siblings, and one's 50, one's 46. There's 4 years between y'all. 4 is the block size. There you may have another sibling. There's only 3 years between y'all. That's 3. Okay. So that's what we need to know. To determine the block size, you're going to say 255 plus 1. Okay, so it's the total of all bits on plus 1. Loop back, right? Equals 256 minus your mask. I don't care what class you're doing, you're always going to minus the mask. So minus 224, what's that?
32.
32. So now this is really all the numbers that you need really to prove to the boss that you need to spend some money, but he wants to see something else. He's going to be like, I need to see a more prettier picture. Your question? So what you're going to do next, and this is the killer when you go on a job interview. Because if you interview with Windstream, I guarantee you they're going to make you go to the whiteboard. All right? Because I know those guys. They're going to say, okay, chart it. Show me. And you're going to come over here like you Big Willie. Networks, host, broadcast. So now remember, We already said our first address is 192.168.10.0. Your first address will always start with a 0. And when I say 0, I mean this last octet, all right? So when I write, I usually just write the last octet versus writing the whole IP out. I'm going to write the first one right here, right? Okay, so that's my first address. So what's your name again, sweetie?
Brandon. Brandon.
Brandon? Okay, so this is Brandon right here. This is his network. Okay, so now, what's your name, sweetheart? Christy. Christy? Oh, you're Christy,
Yep.
I talked to you today, right? So now Christy is getting on the scene. She's gonna be, I'm just gonna put the last one. Our block size is 32, right?
Yes.
So she's gonna be 32. You get it? What's your name, sweetheart? Will? Now Will wants to play. What's his address gonna be?
64.
64. You see how the rhythm is going?
Next one is.
Oh, okay.
No, the next one's not 128. Well, what's your name?
Guy that's got the wrong answer.
Wrong answer, guy. 64 plus 32, 96?
92.
What's your name?
Christy.
Kirsten?
Christian.
Christian?
Cut you off doing that.
So now what is it? Now it's 128.
Can I
Right?
get down for?
You want, oh, now you're gonna be right here. Let's put one to drop out, guy.
Oh, I don't know what you're talking about.
Wanna quit. You want DOR! Okay, so what's it gonna be? 128 plus 32?
160.
160. I thought you said you was gonna answer.
Oh.
All right, what's the next one? 160. 192. What's the next one? 224. The secret is just add the last number. You know what I'm saying? If you just do the math with the last number, you'll be all right.
0, 2, 4, 6, 7,
224. What's our math?
224.
224. So when you get here, we got 8 networks, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We said we could create 8, right? And our mask was 8 networks right here. Okay. And our mask was 224, so that'll be our stopping point. That's your flag. That's now I'm done. I don't need to do it anymore. You see what I'm saying?
That makes sense.
See that make sense? Okay, so if you, this is another real world scenario, okay? If you have siblings, and one of your siblings, does not have both of the same parents, but your mom and that child's father is married, 9 times out of 10, your last name is different from his, right?
Yeah.
Okay? That's usually how it rolls. That's how it is in my family. Okay, okay, so now we have 224, so that's our 8 networks. We gave everybody a network, right? So all of these addresses would belong to servers. Okay, or if you were using devices, like a switch or a router, you could assign these addresses to those. Okay, but we say networks. You see what I'm saying? We just use that term in a strategic format. Okay, so now the deal is now, this is where I start writing crooked. So let me draw my line.
Okay, 3 lines.
Draw my line.
My lines, like your lines.
Crooked, huh? Okay, so now in order to find out, what I do next is I always do the broadcast second. And you can do your own rhythm. It depends on how your mind works. I'm a rhythmic person, I'm a musical person, so I do everything in a rhythm. That's just how I function. So I come over here, I got my networks. I say, okay, if my first network is 0, and my second network is 32, my broadcast needs to be 1 less than my second network. So what's my first broadcast?
So it's one from every other?
Exactly. So that's going to be 31. Let's change color. 31. Okay, what's going to be my broadcast for the next one? 63?
95.
127. One chicken egg.
See, you ain't right.
That's okay. He'll be coming to the board to do the next one.
Yeah. You win. It was just simple, so I had to do it.
223.
And what's the last one? What's the last one?
Mm-hmm.
See?
0? Or do you have to add another 30? 2. Oh, you do.
255. What's the value of all the bits
Yeah,
on?
256,
255. You can't go over 255. 256 is invalid. So if you did this chart and you took it to one of your senior engineers first, and he looked at it, he can be like, dude, that's wrong. If this said 256. Because in subnetting, there is no such thing as 256. 255 is the max. If your wife said, damn it, I'm only having 3 kids, and you be trying to get it up on about a 4th one, it's a wrap. She gonna go get her tubes tied. Bottom line. Okay, so now your host. If your first server is 0 and your broadcast is 31, what's going to be the range of the host?
Well, 0 to 32.
1.
No, 31.
1 to 30.
All right, yeah, I get that.
So every computer you bring and connect to the network, the first one will be 192.168.10.1, 10.2 for the next one, 10.3. See what I'm saying?
Okay.
All the way to 30. When you get to the second network, it's going to be 33 to 62, 65 to 94, 97 to 126, 129 to 158, 161 to 190, 193 to 222, 225 to 254. Okay, just for this address, I do 27 all the time because it's the easiest. Because it gives you some room to play with. It's not short, and it's easier to learn. So here's some key things I tell you to look for. First of all, 127 will always be in the broadcast column. If you're doing the chart and you got 127 in here, you got a mathematical error. Why is 27 over here, 127? Because 127 is a reserved address. It'll never be in this column. Never, ever, 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 ever. Exactly. So loop back. So that's reserved. So I don't care what class you're doing. If it has a 27 in it, it's going to be in the last column. Okay, here's another key. How many people used to watch Room 222 back in the day? I know you did.
I noticed I can tell you one thing, all the broadcasts are numbers, all the hosts is even numbers. That's kind of common sense.
Hey, the light bulb came on. 222 will always be in the host column,
There's hope for it.
and these are odd. Okay, and check it out. The slider is what? Odd or even?
Yeah.
See?
Okay.
Now when you
I'm-
That's
What you got,
start
Brandon?
off at.
Okay,
CIDR, so it's
so 27.
Right.
Okay, I'm second low. Where does 27 come from?
This 27 is because I said we had 24 bits turned on,
Right.
and I wanted to turn on 27, so I turned on 3 more, and that's how I got to 27. And we write it as /27.
Oh,
I just
back
wrote
to
that
over
in.
there. Oh, okay.
So you got to remember, sometimes you got to go looking back and forth
Okay.
if you can't remember.
So that's just basically the title of what that is.
Exactly.
Can we go back to?
Yeah, I just wrote that
Trying
up.
to do 3 more.
Exactly.
Okay.
When you got 222 again?
Right here, 222 is in the host column. Yeah, this is just little things I kind of marked and mentioned to know. If I know 222 is not in this column, I know I got a mathematical error for this particular one, for a side of 27. So it's like if you play piano and you're playing a scale, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, do, si, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, do, si. You hit the wrong note, you're going to hear the sound wrong because it's a rhythm.
I mean, 204. 204, that's 204, the last one, right?
Here? No, 254, I'm sorry. 254. Anybody got any questions? It's not always odd. No, but I just don't want to
other one is 28.
Exactly.
You do 2 to the 4.
You can do 29, exactly.
All right.
Yes, and there's different ciders for different classes. The cider 27 is a class C. Cider 26 is a class C. Cider 24 rides the borderline of a BC. Cider 29 is a class C. So when I give you those little sheets to do, I have 2 sheets. I have a B and a C that I do.
I got a quick question. If I sign this, am I still absent?
You answer that question first. No.
They got an A circle beside it.
No, that's because you weren't here before, so Mr. Rigo circled the A. So you just cross out the A and circle the B.
Alright, okay.
That's your boy, you didn't get on.
You need to stop.
Okay, anybody got any questions?
That was a good question, though. That was a